Good evening, guys and gals and non-binary pals. Tonight we have frankiebones versus inven, two amazing runners, one of which I faced, the other one I'm scared of. Tonight in the booth we have Scratch Dragon, keeping everything all together. We have Step Lively doing all the tracking, and I'm joined here with Oregon Mike in the booth for commentary. How's it going, Oregon Mike?
Oh, thanks, Tybalt. I'm doing all right. I've had a long, warm day, and I'm looking forward to some nice, chill racing.
Oh, 100% here. Let's look at the objectives we have here Thursday night. Happy B-Day, Enven. Everybody ready for this? Who will remain undefeated? Who will take the first loss? Who will forget to save? They're looking at me. Look, I'm the only one that's allowed to forget to save, okay? Nobody else.
All right. Well, let's hope so. Oh, and it looks like we're underway. We've got a Sid leading us into this fight here, and a Kane. So a couple of heavy hitters to start us off with, and a hook to start. Oh.
Yeah, let's grab that hovercraft and go straight and looting Eblin. Like, that's one thing. I'm looking at this team. I know I've heard a discussion about, in other races, like, where do you loot? It's either between Watery Pass or it's Eblin. And it really depends on what you're looking for.
There's a character down there. There's it could be your first character to grab. It's potentially, depending on who you get there, could be underground access fairly quick. Could be fun to see what happens here.
Well, I was thinking more of Evelyn Castle. There's the two places to loot. The hook just says, "Hey, you've got even more loot down Evelyn, and you've got two characters that could really use those high tier weapons like ogre axes and black belts and bandanas." So, give me that gear. We got everyone going straight here to DMC. I'm gonna raise that hovercraft and get those spicy loots down here in good old Hampton, but it looks like we're having a bit of some technical difficulties. So let's go ahead and take a look at the actual we might be linking syncing up the streams here.
That's fair too. Yeah, we've got some interesting objectives. Vanilla Ribbon Room, King of Town and Monsters could be nasty. Baron Castle, Cave Bahamut, Baron Basement Throne, Cave Magnus, and Trade Away the Pinktail. So we already have the hook to trade away the Pinktail. All we need is a Pinktail.
Yeah. Yeah, what it was like, the king spot can be quite tricky depending on, who's exactly sitting there. Because if it's something like Blygan or Evil Wall, ugh.
I've seen Dark Knight Cecil be pretty nasty there as well.
Oh yeah,
I like to look at the objectives and do a little bit of meta analysis here. We've got 2 on the moon, but only 2 that require the moon. So we don't necessarily need the Darkness Crystal to finish the seed. We've got 2 that require the Baron Castle key. We already have our underground access, so defeat the King of the Town of Monsters is basically open to the runners right now.
Yeah, very true. I mean, it could either be it comes with a toss-up of which key item do you find? Do you find the Baron key, or do you find the Darkness? Because that could be your eventual go mode there.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, we'd still be looking for a Twin Harp for completing Cave Magnus and a Pinktail to trade away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're just waiting for Frankie to catch up in time here. I actually decided to check the waterfall boss here. I like doing this. Oh,
Vanilla Octomam.
Some vanilla ice cream. Yep.
There's an Earth Hammer for that Sid in the Inven finding one in the basement of Damascene Castle.
Early Earth Hammer is actually really nice. Being able to use that to cast, low damage Quake in case you find an early alt gauntlet somewhere is really nice to have. Also, it has 10 strength, has fire damage, and pretty decent accuracy on it, so one of Sid's top weapons there. But yeah. This is a pretty standard opening. If you have a hook, you're just going to raise a hovercraft.
Get that hovercraft. You know you're going to need it, especially with the Pinktail on there.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know. We have the hook. we don't know where the magma crystal could be anywhere.
Yeah.
There's no requirement for it to be accessible to the runners. The magma crystal could be in the underground or on the moon.
And inven doing the only one I've ever seen do this before. Sitting here and going over to Antlion Cave with a hovercraft. It's the only one I've known ever to do that.
I imagine it's slightly faster than flying there because you don't have the small cutscene of the airship taking off and landing.
True.
Is Inven locked up, though? Are we still waiting for a sync to finish?
No, we just think it might just be a lock up there, so we'll contemplate what Inven's doing here while we look at Frankie actually going down the hook route here. Might check some shopping. Saved outside. Nope. Is literally just going to go straight to the character. It's one of those things like, I'm not going to tempt myself with wanting to exit out of here. I want to see who's here. And
We've got Mylan and friends in the Antlion spot. That Earth Hammer going to do a little bit of work.
Yeah, clear out the dance party and leave you just with Mylan. Old heads up play there. And we have a Karate Man with a sparkle. Ooh.
Well, it narrows down who the boss there is, but not a whole lot.
Yeah, it does.
It could be Plague, which would be fairly straightforward. It could be Ogopogo, which might not.
It could be Wyvern.
Well, there's our pass in the Antlion Cave. Interesting.
Early pass. Okay. No, it could be Wyvern sitting there. If it's Wyvern that's sitting there, that means the magma key has to be above ground.
I don't know that it does because we already have the hook. Oh, yeah, you're right. The hook would be blocking the access to the underground, then, wouldn't it?
Yep. Logical access
that makes sense. Yeah.
Logical access underground cannot be gated behind Valvalis or Wyvern.
This is why they put someone else on commentary who knows what they're talking about.
There's other flag standings that can prevent other things, but those are the two major ones we really need to worry about. Is that it's Val, Golbez, and Wyvern are the three bosses that say, "Hey, you find me, you're not the logical underground access." Evil and Ogopogo are not in that list. Only those three. If you add the Beyond Safe, DKC, and Odin get added into that list a little bit better. Because it could be like Odin spot can open up a death point, I believe.
Inven did check the watery pass and found our Octomam sitting there. I imagine neither runner will be in a particular rush to defeat her.
No, it's just more of it's a knowledge check, and we're looking for that Demus because Demus is going to have an item, and we've seen it happen to where runners have missed Demus somewhere, and oh no, there's a huge chain behind that Demus.
Yeah, so for sure you check, especially when you're right there anyway.
Because when are you going to be back there again? You're really not. Mist Village, you can argue to do it, later on when you have the package, or at some point in time because you're going to be flying around that area fairly often.
Frankie is going to check the back end of Mount Hobbs, it looks like, and see who our next potential recruit is and what enemy might be standing there in the way.
Let's look at some of those here. We got a Lunar Staff, Mute Knife. There's some black belts and karate geese we've gotten from this Ebon Cave. So some decent loot here early on, which is nice to have. We got a cat claw. Oh, hey. Of course, I'm here. Young's here. He's starting with a charm claw. It's all good. We're good. I'm happy.
And we got a vanilla mum bomb.
2 scoops.
And Horums hanging around up there too.
Hey, early white mage. I'm feeling pretty happy. You give me any white mage, I'm happy.
Well, good. Then you've got White Mage Kid there, and Mum Bomb to be defeated. Now, Mum Bomb is going to throw a whole lot of extra time on this with her second round bonus hit points.
Gotta get it down there enough for it to do a phase change. But then we have that Earth Hammer to kind of clean up. 2 scoops. 2 scoops of vanilla.
2 bosses in their vanilla locations.
Yep.
And here comes the Earth Hammer to clean up all them little bombs.
Yeah, okay, we're not too worried about max defense. Great. Yeah, quick way heads up. Little Frankie knowing that, hey, those little bomblets, just taking out the Earth Hammer. Well, looks like we found a Leviathan somewhere along the way and a light sword, so Cecil and Rydia are going to be really interesting to pick up.
If they're even in the seed.
Well, they'll be in the seed. It all depends on where they are. The only 2 characters that are not in the seed that are taking a well-deserved vacation because of all the previous tournament used is Tella and Fu. Those 2 will never show up. But everybody else is guaranteed at least once.
And frankiebones heading into Fabul Castle to see what's fabulous today.
Ooh, somebody found a heroin robe. Sweet. We got that heroin robe for Porum, so Porum can be a very
4th
angry
physical
child.
fighter, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's our Mist Dragon.
Well, we're not going to miss this. We're not going to miss this one.
No, for sure. I suspect Inven will be headed there after he clears out Mount Hobbs.
Yeah. A little depends if you play into the old ideology of one of the runners here a while back, Rivers, fading from duel until you have the pan. And the answer, question in chat, yes, both runners here, frankiebones and Inven, have won each of their matches. So this is week 3. I'm not sure who they each face, but yes. They have won their respective matches up until now. So someone's coming out of here with a loss.
And Frankie, the Mist Dragon for sure. Frankie has beaten the Mist Dragon.
Yeah, very well done by him. Now go check it before you forget.
Just a spoon. Does count for a key item, which is nice, but not a particularly useful one.
Checking a pot that very on a pot that nobody ever checks and finds a black belt.
Someone just stuffed an old pile of clothes into that pot.
And just heal pots. Always a good thing to pick up a little 10 stack of pots there for heal. You can find a valve somewhere, and there's like an evil wall, and you can heal the petrification. So not a bad pickup there. Did see we found cabins and the hook route, so we've got our camping gear.
I'm going to check Silvera here, just to see what's hanging around. There's a self-summon.
That's money. Wait, there's
another dancing dagger.
There's a frog in there. Like, what was that? Ooh,
Exits.
So pick up a few of these. Porum learns exit naturally. So I'll pick up like 2 or 3 of these. We've used easily a few places that we want to exit out of, like Antlion and Hook Route. But try to pick up like 1 or 2. Not picking up 5. I'd say by the time we get through Ordeals, we'll probably have exit on Porum.
Inven, I'll step behind Frankie and taking on D-Mist at Fabul. Just a bit of a different starting route, but the 2 of them seem to be running on the same path at this point.
Yeah, really common path there.
Frankie going to check the Mist Dragon with Rydia's mom.
Yeah. Always a good thing to check, because you never want to forget about it.
Just a tiara, but it does go nicely with that Porum.
Yeah, great defense for that Porum. Especially if you find like a Pale Dim or a... Yeah, especially if I find Pale Dim down there on the hook route. Great dragon defense. Oh yeah, no need to check the bosses anymore. We found Mist. So we're never going to find out who's sitting there in Mist Cave.
Maybe useful information, but it's probably not worth the time to get it at this point.
Nope.
But we are going to see a check of the Baron Inn to see who's hanging out there and who's protecting them.
Yeah, not...
we got a CPU and a Cecil.
Yeah, we got the guy. We have a light sword.
And with that heroine robe, we have a very combat-heavy party here, then.
Yeah, we have very, very high Berserker party. Like this is technical endgame party here. Sid, super slow, but he's great to be an anchor. That's, you know, when your hero is your anchor. Sid, probably the most common that people love because his agility is so low.
We're going to take a Globe 199 here, which actually failed to do 9999 damage. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, because the Globe 199 is based on the magic of the spot, so low magic spots. There are chances, like, if you have him at top of tower, he may not actually do 999. He'll actually survive it.
And we've got the elements as our second fight in Baron Inn. Go down fairly quickly.
Yeah, that Earth
we don't
Hammer,
even get past Mylon, yeah.
Yeah, the Earth Hammer with its extra fire damage. Twin Harp.
And there's the Twin Harp, which also puts us in line for one of the stated goals.
Yeah, objective. But I still think you at least go up ordeals first, and then got a lot of snow. That extra Todd still smells. But yeah, we've got that Cecil. I almost say let's go up ordeals. Let's get that Cecil turned into a paladin.
Oh, and Silkweb's available.
Argument to do one of the monster boxes in Evelyn to get some experience on Cecil to slingshot him up there a little bit. Then do Cave Magnus. Want to make sure you have exit before you do that spot because walking out feels real bad.
Well, Frankie had bought a whole bunch of exits, so won't have to walk it out. But ordeals is the play for Frankie. Which makes a good deal of sense. You want to get that Cecil online as quick as you can.
Yeah, I mean, you have the discount Holy Sword, and you have a light sword. It's not an X-Cal and it's not a crystal, but, you know, in a pinch, it's nice to have.
Inven letting all the elements have their chance at in the limelight here. Very kind.
And not have the same luck. I think you did a little bit more damage on Mylon. The phase tip where Frankie just had the one shot with Earth Hammer. Oh, well, the other Mylon here.
Yeah, it's going to be Mylon Zed, yeah.
We have French vanilla, we've got a couple other vanillas. What would we consider vanilla bean?
I don't know.
Yeah, I asked the tough questions here.
What would we consider vanilla bean? It would probably be something that leads to vanilla. So, you know, Mylon and friends in the Mylon Zed spot, for example.
No, that's still French vanilla because it's just reversed. It's right next to each other.
Yeah, but it's also.
Okay.
I'm trying to come up with something on the fly.
Yeah, I know. So difficult. Like I said, I asked the tough questions.
And I give the nonsense answers. So we got a sparkle here, and it is Plague.
Ooh. Okay.
And at a spot where you don't have a quick reaction. We get to see the backwards counting happen, though. That's fun.
Yeah, backwards counting. So this spot's always very interesting for all the different animations here, and this is going to be a bit of a tricky situation here. So we got to get our party member down and get a life pot out immediately to get that count reset.
The time is ticking away really quickly. We've lost Kane. Oh, there's the count reset. Losing Kane was probably a good thing then, because bringing Kane back will get the count started again.
Yeah, no berserk. We just got to get that damage out there. This is another tricky spot. We do have slow. We could use a Starville here and reflect the count back on him. But you do have to worry because you don't want that fast being reflected on.
There's Kane back up. Inven a step behind again, just finishing Mylon Zed. And Yang obliges by dropping.
Definitely making up that time. Frankie really timing out these life potions out. Timing it to where just one person goes down to life up. That is... Whew.
It's been a bit of a clinic. Very well done.
Yeah.
We'll see how Inven handles it as he approaches the plague fight. And there goes, Frankie has finished it. Oh, Inven has noped out of the first round.
No, Inven's doing probably a different strategy here. What he's going to do is he's going to go into a random encounter, knock somebody down, start the fight that way.
Yeah, a reasonable thing to do. Frankie kind of had to play it quick because he didn't save after fighting Mylon, so just had to play it on the fly and gave us a good show of it. Very well done.
Yeah. Very, very well done fight there. Now we get to see who Sid has to face by himself.
Yes, because Sid is the hero, has to go into the Crystal Chamber all alone. The Hall of Mirrors.
Who would be bad here? Val would be
yeah.
Val would be terrible here. I don't know if Sid has high enough strength here yet to get past that spin.
Anything that makes it hard to hit. Legend Sword, vanilla Legend Sword. Heck of a bunch. Oh, we got an evil wall. This could be exciting.
Nah,
we've got 1,000 hit points to get through, so.
No,
it's not hitting.
Yeah, no, this evil wall is free.
Yeah, this is not gonna be a problem.
Sid's got enough physical defense that this spot's physical attacks are nothing. Okay, Scratch. You gave us 3 scoops. We're good on the vanilla now, okay? I can't handle much more.
Inven getting a reset on the count, and probably pretty close to finishing that plague off.
Yeah, back attack plague is probably one of the ones where you really actually with arrows there instead. But yep. And there goes down the plague. Yeah, both runners doing amazing there.
Matt at 35 saying in chat, assume both will check music before trying hook route. It's entirely possible. I mean, Cave Magnus is one of the objectives, but you never know. They might just decide. You also sometimes got to wonder what your opponent is doing. Maybe you think if your opponent is checking one thing, maybe you just leave it alone until later. See if you can get a step up on them. That being said, it is an objective, and it's not a particularly challenging one. So perhaps it looks like frankiebones is going to go straight there.
Yeah. So when it comes there's a couple phrases that we always hear being thrown around. It's do your freebies, do your objectives, and then there's another one that kind of gets thrown around as well. It's like if you have a hook route, check every spot before you on the hook route. We know that it's a sparkle down there. We know we've already seen Plague as a moon fight. So that leaves us with D-Lunars, Pogo Pogo, Hail Dam, and Wyvern. So 1 and 4 for being, a boss that is not going to get us. It's going to get us logically for underground. So,
and even if that spot isn't Wyvern, that doesn't mean that the magma key isn't available. Just because it's not blocked off doesn't mean the magma key isn't somewhere else.
Correct. So it's one of those things like, and going through a hook route is slow and tedious. If you can just find the magma key and skip past that, great.
Maddox saying it shouldn't be Wyvern because it can't block underground access. While that's true, Wyvern cannot block the only underground access. So if Wyvern is there, that means that the magma key is available somewhere.
Yep. If Wyvern is down there, Cave Magnus will have the magma key, or a path that leads to magma key that is not the darkness crystal. So we know it's 25% chance for Wyvern being down there.
But
and we've
still,
got it's check everything before you go underground.
Yeah. Music doesn't take that long, and it's a crowd pleaser. It's always a crowd pleaser to get the songs.
Yeah, we got Dark Elf. No kamikazes here, so we just gotta wait for Young. Yeah. But with Young not having that much defense. There we go, we get the periscope.
Yeah. And that means that one of the randomized and randomly selected and converted tunes on the harp will be played for us here by Edward, and Tybalt and I will let Edward do his thing and meet you on the other side. And that was a pretty smooth Leviathan fight for Frankie.
Yeah.
And Inven decided to take on a couple Lamayas up on Mount Ordeals while he was there. So once again, ceding a little bit of time to Frankie in exchange for what could be a little bit of speed. And here's our magma key.
Yeah.
So Hook, basically, I'm not seeing any reason that anyone would go to Hook at this point.
No, there's no reason to go down the Hook route. We've already found Zemus. We've got our underground access via magma key. Yeah, Inven did something that a lot of runners will do in the cases of having like a Palom. We'll pop a siren or two. We start at least with 1 to 2 sirens. Pop those on Ordeals to get the 2 double Lilith fight. Get your Palom up to Virus. In this case, it was to give Cecil some levels to get closer to that exit and get him some extra damage for doing this Cave Magnus.
We're going to get another Dark Elf fight on Inven's side. Well, Dark Elf cutscene while Frankie goes to turn in the magma key, and we'll let that lovely Secret of Mana tune play through again, and heaven forfend that I interrupted. So, please enjoy.
Yeah.
And inven through the Leviathan fight.
Yeah.
Frankie cracked an egg.
Yeah,
So
Cecil
lost his-
unfortunately missed the 34,000 experience, which would have been nice. But we got Kane to cover.
Headed to the Castle of the Dwarves.
Yeah,
And
this has been
who
another
is
place.
hiding behind the throne? Another Sparkle.
Sparkle. Yeah, very interesting. I mean, Dwarf has been a place for contention lately of checking at 2 bosses, 1 item, and then you've got a character here. Do you feel comfortable with your characters, or are you going to try and trade somebody out at this point?
Yeah, certainly this would seem a more attractive check if we didn't have a full party. There is my Canadian brethren, Ogopogo.
Yeah, the Canadian Nope Noodle. Yeah, this place is the reason why it's another big contention is because Rydia. If you have Rydia, this place becomes a little bit higher on the scale because with the recent changes in 4.6, we dropped Bahamut from tier 6 to tier 5. So Bahamut can actually show up in her list here from learning summons. She gets 6 random summons. So we'll see where Envan decides to go when he first pops in the underground here. Already used both the Sirens. Could look at the Fey March. We do have the Cecil, so we could do some cover strats here with the Berserk. Also get that freebie down there.
I'm sort of in favor of at least checking it, and there's the free P item, and at least knowing what you're up against for that third objective is good.
Yeah. Now, knowledge, to me, knowledge is power. It's always nice to always single dip, but having the knowledge of what you might need to come back, or what to prep for, or if it's something you're going to fade completely.
Yeah, having knowledge, single dipping only to find that you can't actually win the fight down there really hurts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll say it's like a lure of you check it, it's all gauntlet. Yeah, you're going to want to come back for that one later. When you have more appropriate weapons for that one.
And we have a blue robe in the Golbez location. And Rosa joining.
Do we take the Rosa over Young?
We take Rosa in favor of Young.
Wow.
And it's Water Hag. So this is not a challenge particularly. 3 hits and the Water Hag will go down.
Well, we're not gonna...
Concussed Gamer pointing out that Ogopogo may be a fellow Canadian, but pretty sure that most places in the U.S. are closer to take Ogopogo, to Lake Ogopogo, to the Okanagan, yeah. Yeah, the Okanagan is on the west coast. I am not. And while I could be further away, I'm still half a country away and half a continent away from the west coast, so,
We have one free fight down here in the underground. We got Bahamut. Super free, as long as you have Star Veils.
And the dude.
However, we have Val on the other side.
Ooh, I missed that.
It's still technically doable. I mean, if we get Blink on Porum, it's gonna be a slog, but we can do cover strats. So everybody at critical HP, Sasso will just automatically cover them. As long as we can keep up a Blink on Cecil. That fight does become free. Just a long fight to go through.
And having 2 white mages will make keeping that blink up a little easier.
Mm-hmm.
There's the
Yeah.
Baron Key. Very important piece of equipment there for frankiebones. That gives us access to 2 more objectives.
Yeah, this is gonna be spicy. Do we go to the Fey March and get the freebie, or do we just follow that Baron Key? Frankie going, I don't want to touch that Fey March. Not yet.
Following the key items back, going to do the Baron Castle. A fairly reasonable decision, probably.
Do your objectives, check your freebies.
Yeah.
One of the top 2 things to do.
We do love a little bit of divergence once in a while. So there's the Queen of the Fey March taken out, just with a Zeus Gauntlet, unfortunately. But that experience will probably serve Inven pretty well.
Oh, experience is great. The Zeus Gauntlet's actually really spicy to have here. Besides that, nope, I'm not going to fight that Val. I don't think anybody would want to. The Zeus Gauntlet gives some nice strength, but also gives you resistance to giants, which, in this particular flag set, the grind of choice has been Mech Giants, since we no longer have a weak caster. So, cover struck and Cecil taking 1 damage with having a Zeus Gauntlet? Yeah, okay.
Inven going to check the freebie tower key, which is also a reasonable thing. 2 key items up here.
Yeah. Still get your airship back once you do the... now, the question is, will he do the Penguinator special and just do the half-tower play?
Oh, I guess we'll find out.
I mean, at least save in here, go to the top of tower. If it's nothing up there, you can reset out and come right back and do the tower later, which looks like what he might be doing this time.
And the Baron Castle Sparkle is, in fact, Lunar.
So that makes it a 50-50 for that Wyvern being on the hook route.
And since we know the Magna Key is elsewhere, there's no reason it wouldn't be.
Yeah. So we may not be able to find out what the Witchburn is today.
Here comes the walls and viruses.
Yep. Furthermore, there in chat, yes, the no J drops are on in this flag set. So our good buddy Edge cannot steal Bacchus Wines, cannot steal the Sirens. All you'll get is just a Cure 1.
We have Antline at the top of the tower.
Not terrible. Annoying. More or less.
And rocking that dance, I mean...
Okay. Gotta get the dance moves out somehow.
Lunar's down, and Frankie's probably going to check... We'll see if he bothers to heal before going after... just gonna use items. To go see who is sitting in the throne.
How many monsters are in a trench coat? That's the question. Number between 1 and, what's it, 27, I think?
I guess, yeah. Oh, it's a little more French vanilla.
Yeah, some more.
There's Baigan.
Baigan decided to take the throne tonight. Well, I mean, you save a little bit of time because this is a boss that does not able to crumble at all. So, you save some time there. All the element spots will do a crumble when you take them out. But there's still some certain bosses that are unable to crumble, and Baigan is one of them.
Just going to berserk up the fighters, turn them loose.
Yeah, you're not worried about the explosion from the arms here.
And berserked fighters might just target it anyway, apparently. There we go, Baigan down. The Antlion fight continues on Inven's side.
And we got another Cane.
It's a replacement Cane.
So no mages so far besides his pawn and Rosa. Will we see a straight Zerker Z fight? Ooh.
It's certainly looking like it at this point. But it's still early.
Yeah, Colonity, I can still be out there. let's go ahead and see what the Baron Trash Can has for us tonight.
We've already launched the Enterprise, so obviously we're not going to be doing that.
Yeah, nope, just a little pot down here. Ooh,
The darkness
darkness.
crystal. All right, now depending on what we see in the tower, we could see some serious divergence here.
Yeah. Yeah. Might want to check that Baron basement there, Frankie, before you go back up. And swap over the blinks, yeah.
See what you're up against.
Or is Frankie just gonna go? I'm gonna grind with this party right now.
Well, it might be. Could be. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're getting a look on the Mac Giant grind.
Yeah. So for those of you wondering what he's doing here, previous tournaments we also had a flag set that we could not run away from encounters. We were unable to utilize the normal step route for finding the D machines. Pair of very, very intelligible community members. I know Twisted Flag, Simbu, and Exodin all work together to find out how another way that you can actually find both Mac Giants and D machines by using the encounters here in front of Baron. Since they give such little experience, you're not going to mess up any slingshots. So, what Frankie's doing here is just looking at how many counters he takes before he gets the first fight. You look at the chart and figure out how many more you actually have to take before you'll find the first encounter there in the chest of the Giant of Babel. Unfortunately, I'm not sure what count he's at right now.
Well, he certainly seems to like where he's at.
Must
Top
be
of
on
tower,
one
I think, had the package. And now we're looking at the super cannon with Rubicant.
Must be one of the very few zero encounter fights. So it might have been like, I think, at least a 35 is the first zero encounter on the chart. So, unless you're looking at 23 and you can get an empty fight.
I have no idea.
I've got the chart pulled up.
Your numbers are strange and arcane to me. I don't know.
Yeah, you just walk out, count how many times you've stepped until you get your first encounter. You take that number, you look at your chart and go, okay, how many more encounters do I have to take? And so he's going to raise the hovercraft, raise the whale here, go into the giant, and as soon as he hits the chest, turn encounters on, and the first encounter is going to be the searcher. And that searcher is going to summon the Mac Giants.
Also known now, because the Darkness Crystal is behind Baron Castle, that means that the Baron Key locks off at least 4 of our objectives, meaning that Dwarf Castle is required.
Yeah. Very much so. Now, it's all spicy. It depends on what inven finds here. Like, if inven finds Pinktail, that leaves Val and Dwarf Castle for progression for him. And that may funnel him into doing that Baron.
Just a crystal bracelet.
Yeah, so again, it's a 50-50 between Dwarf and Val here, and he's going straight to Baron. Or going straight to Dwarf, I should say, which will lead to Baron. Already fully healed up.
Headed to the Giants.
Yep.
Going to do a Mac Giant grind.
So, I mean, so it's grind early, grind often.
Well, preferably not often, I would think. You want to grind early and just do it once.
Yeah. People wondering in chat about the D Machine, is it still possible? It is, actually. So if you have a Kane hero, you have a chance to get the Abel's Lance. And the Abel's Lance, when you use it as an item, casts weak. So there still would be a chance.
Here's the Searcher.
Yeah. We just use a low-level spell, or something like a Thor Rage, or Dancing Dag, or something weak to ping that Searcher. He'll send an alert out to summon that Mac Giant. Well, not
I
so
guess
much.
with-
There's. Go ahead.
I was going to say, without Tella or Fusoya around to cast it a week early, I guess Rydia and Palom get weak far too late for it to be useful for a grind purpose.
Yeah, they get it way too late. They get up in the late 40s.
So grinding to get to your next grind is not really an ideal option. I mean, that's what I do in the games I tend to play, but it's not really a free enterprise option.
Right. And the only way the Abel's Lance grind comes into play is like if you get Forge before you go underground. You know, you have Magma, both pieces of Forge, and your next key item ends up being Darkness. You're like, okay, I've got the option to do it. Like, it's a very niche case situation, but it can still happen.
Inven, meanwhile, is through Ogopogo and finding Rosa, and we'll see, is not taking Rosa.
Happy with just the one White Mage there in Porum. And just 3 bucks and bye-bye Water Hag.
Actually, with the Heroine Robe, we could see a 5 Berserker strat for the final fight.
Yeah, we could. We very much well could.
It also just occurred to me that Cain gets Abel's Lance. Nice little biblical reference, thank you.
Well, it's all the it's called Super Forge. It's the Super Forge. So your hero gets what's called a Super Forge item, which is the Final Fantasy IV advanced weapons. So all those extra dungeons you're able to do on the advanced version, those are the weapons you have available to those characters. So Sid here, if we find Forge, we can have something like the Thor Hammer, Fiery Hammer, or probably for this party, the better one would be the Gigantex.
I have never actually played any of the ports of Final Fantasy IV except for the one that came to the PlayStation.
Okay.
I do own the Pixel remasters on the Switch. My father currently has them.
You know, and then making quick work of both those dwarf fights, gets the Baron Key, and is probably going to be on his way to going straight to Baron. I'd still argue to grab your Sheila 1 check for a possible chance at the Adamant Rock or Pinktail. But that's just me.
Yeah. I mean, you're already down there.
Yeah. You have the pass, so I mean, there's nothing, wrong with doing all of the moon and having to come back down on the invent side. Frankie not having the pass makes it a little bit harder because you have to transition between the blue planet and the moon more times.
Well, there's only the 2 objectives of the Ribbon Room and Cave Bahamut on the moon.
Yeah, but your other ones that you have to complete, the Adamant and the
Pigtail. Yeah.
Pinktail are all played on the blue planet, so.
And we don't know where the Adamant or the Pinktail are. If either of them are on the moon, then, well, they're going to have to be back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, could gain, invent a bit of an advantage having that pass, not having to make that transition back, and then walking down all the way down to LSD again. So, we'll see what happens. This is still pretty up in the air. I mean, even though it looks like Frankie's in the lead right now, don't discount the fights that are coming up, and don't discount Z.
No, and again, Frankie's got a step on Inven because Inven has done some additional searching and has found the pass, among other things. So, and things like checking the town of summoned monsters, Frankie hasn't done yet. So,
right. And also, Inven's going to be sitting at 9 key items when finished with Baron here. If Inven decides to do the Baron basement and find a 10th key item, that would shrink a grind in half. You get that 10 key item bonus. That's a whole
yeah, for any who don't know, when you get 10 of those key items lit up, then you get double experience. It's a nice little incentive to make sure you go and look for things, I suppose.
a little bit there, and so there's a couple different ways that you can increase the amount of experience a party member gets. You have the 10 key item. Cool, you're kind of getting close to the end of the game. Let's help you get your last level there to take on the final boss. We also have a catch-up mechanic, so anybody that is 5 levels behind the median of the party will also get double experience. Well, quite commonly, we will call that the slingshot. So bring like a level 1 Rydia in, and she'll just get slingshot all the way up to, 51 or 52 when you get her new.
Well, and if you're looking at a fight like this where you're taking on a dozen Mac Giants and getting a huge amount of experience, that doubling can actually slingshot someone at low level right past the rest of the party.
Yep. You very much can. And generally the people that you want to slingshot are the mages because they don't get their real big damage until near the end of their levels. The 50s and 52s.
And for anyone who might not know what's going on Frankie's side, aside from the continual grinding of Mac Giants, casting life or throwing life potions on a dead enemy. So, let's see if I get this right. When you use a life spell or life potion, it restores the target with 5 times their vitality stat in hit points. Whereas all enemies have 0 vitality, 5 times 0 is 0, so they come back to life and immediately die again, giving you credit for a second kill.
You are correct. You can actually bypass that 0 vitality if you actually do life 2. So if the life glitch is turned off, you can actually still get more than one takeout per fight. So.
Sure, but then you'd have to fight it again, right?
Right, but it comes back exactly the way it died. So if you're fighting something like the Baron Guards or the Kaipo Guards, and you turn them into tiny toads, they'll stay as tiny toads.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Inven going to check the Baron basement. See what's hiding down there.
Yeah, this could be a play for just the objective, or it also could be a play for that 10th key item.
Yeah, so close to 10 key items, I would be just looking for that extra one, especially if grind is on the mind. Hello, Golbez.
Golbez, pretty tricky spot down here. Actually, pretty doable. Has a crystal ring, so actually just going to size everybody up.
Yeah?
Yeah. The thing is, the magic here is super high, so those viruses and those spells that Golbez is going to be casting are going to hit pretty hard. But as long as you can prevent yourself by being paralyzed at the beginning, either by having a higher priority status, so poison, piggy, size, heron robe, and crystal rig will also prevent the paralyzation. You can make sure that you get at least one person up with the Star Veil, and then Golbez just continuously hits himself. And you just have to block him once to finish the fight.
Finish the grind. And we'll see what comes next.
Yeah, probably going to be doing the Baron basement before going to the moon, as it is an objective, but may just say, hey, I'll come back later.
I'm trying to think now. I don't think any of the objectives... I think all the objectives right now are available. If I'm trying to work through a thought process into my words, and it's not going well.
Yeah. Well, Frankie decided to go, nope, yeah. I got my level, so let's go take on this Fey March.
Yeah, well, might find that Valvelis down there still might not be the best possible option. But taking all these hits here will reduce the party low enough that all he really has to do is heal Cecil. Yep. And we'll have cover strats going. Meanwhile, Inven taking on Golbez with some tiny, tiny characters.
Tiny dancers, maybe?
It does have a dancing dagger.
Yeah. Gonna heal up that Cecil with the heal pod to get the, probably some extra damage from that light sword. You see those lightnings are coming out fast and quick and hit hard, and there we go.
It is. And
Why?
Gorbus is defeated, giving Inven a third objective.
Come on, Frank. And the rat
And a
tail.
rat tail.
So a 10th key item. Frankie going straight into Val here.
No hesitation.
Yeah. Healed up beforehand. Here's the other problem when you think about the cover strats.
Yeah,
Val does cast weak.
Will make it difficult.
Yeah. One thing you can't do in this spot is you can't use spells, so there's going to be no white cast from Rosa unless she's out of tornado phase.
Oof.
Which we could take her out.
We do have Kane. And Kane can jump.
But remember, the problem with that is when you take her out of her spin phase, she does 2 attacks right after. So, in this spot, having one of the highest attack.
She is hitting hard.
Yeah, this is one of the highest attack spots in the game.
She
CPU,
took that form out in a single hit. So
yeah. So think of it this way, Mike: is if the spot is actually just going to do just magic attack on you, so something like, I don't know, Leviathan here, Cave Value, where they just cast spells. The developers decided to be a little cheeky here and actually give them really high attack, because they're not going to physically hit you. Why does the number have to be low? Why not just make it high? So Val has very high attack set in this spot, so she's going to be hitting like a truck, as we can see.
I wonder if, just speculating here, I wonder if that was a counter to perhaps trying to stop spellcasting opponents by using Berserk on them. I mean, I'm pretty sure that doesn't actually work, but if they'd thought of that as a way to stop a spellcaster, said, oh, well, we can't have people doing that, let's just give them massive physical attack.
Problem is that you do have the boss bit, so you would be able to cast Berserk on them. There's a lot of spells you can't cast on enemies if they have the boss bit. So, I don't know.
Oh,
maybe it was just more of...
Inven has brought Rosa into the party.
Yeah, I'm going to be slingshotting that Rosa up here probably as soon as... He's going to turn that rat tail. Hope that it just goes straight into pink tail and get another objective done.
You could also hold the adamant.
Yeah, it very well could. Sticking the good Charm Claw there on the one, the only, the Young. They're going to be doing some extra damage to those mech giants here. Sticking the Zeus Gauntlet for that extra defense. So Cecil's going to be sitting there covering. And about
Frankie
40
meanwhile is getting some blink going here. I see some difficult to spot Cecil and Rosa, and now Sid.
Yeah. Those blinks, best way to cover it is to, if your Cecil can't cover, might as well blink people up. Finally getting a hold of this fight here.
Yeah, in a lot of these fights, there's a breaking point, a moment where you suddenly go from scrambling to in control of it, and it looks like Frankie is well on his way to that.
Yeah. Just a matter of getting into that, decent section of the fight where you go, okay, cool. I'm finally in a good rotation here. You hope to find it sooner than later, in most cases. I hope Inven does not forget about that rat tail he has.
Well, knowing that the pink tail's an objective, he may be waiting for both, or might just want to do the grind first.
True. Or could get the step count, because once you store that step count, you can do other things as long as you do not reset. So it could be one of those things of like, let's go get my steps done, then go, or not. Just go to the moon. I have the pass. I can come back later. But we're going to be saying this. Go ahead.
I think what I was getting at earlier is that now the runners have their option of which objectives they don't want to do. So they don't actually have to do any. They have access. As soon as we find the adamant and the pinktail, we've got everything. We are essentially right now in go mode.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the Vanilla Ribbon Room, the King of the Count of Monsters, as Frankie Bones has found out, is not an easy fight, and Cave Bahamut could be truly nasty as well. But Frankie Bones is through the King of Town of Monsters. King Valvalis has fallen and provided us with some Artemis arrows.
Yeah. So, I mean, in all technicality here... No, wait, no. Hold on a second. We're actually in go mode.
Yep. I'm a little surprised. I'm a little surprised that Frankie didn't take on that Bahamut to see what the key item was there, but...
No point. I mean, you could, but when you get to that point of when you are in go mode, you kind of just blank everything else out of your mind, going, I have my path, let's go.
Just thinking that if it was, say, the adamant, we already have the legend sword, and that means... We know it's not, but we already have the legend sword, and that means that you would have to do one less, potentially very nasty fight on the moon.
This is very true. But again, is that coming from the aspect of a runner, as I am a runner in this, if you put on those blinders once you see that go mode, you don't think about anything else. It itches in the back of your mind, but you're also thinking, yes, I could take this fight on, I could spend 30 seconds doing this fight for nothing, and I'm racing against someone who I really can't give any time to. So, do I want to spend that 30 seconds and get nothing? Or do I want to just sit there and just go straight to my objectives, not waste the time?
Frankie also using the size spell to make sure that his party does not get paralyzed.
Yeah. I wonder, I know he doesn't have the crystal ring. But I know inven got the crystal ring from that Bahamut there. So I wonder if he may have forgotten about that, because that does prevent against that paralyze.
It was a Zeus gauntlet from there.
Was Zeus gauntlet? I thought somebody had a crystal ring.
We found one. Nope, it's gone. I can't remember where. But you're right. It does. They do have one. I'm just not sure where it is.
Yeah, I remember seeing a crystal ring somewhere.
Inven managing to pull off a couple double life glitches on these Mac Giants.
Yeah, that's... Oof.
Super Cannon. Thank you, Step.
Thank you to our tracker keeping it straight here. It's like, I knew I saw a crystal ring somewhere. Yeah, not only having 10 key items be able to shrink this grind time down, but also getting double life glitches, that reduces the grind fight even more.
We'll see who the Shadow Dragon demolishes, leaving with Kane and Sid to take on this Golbez.
That's a little sad, because Sid gets experience regardless because he's the hero.
Yes, he's full.
Yeah. Now it's time for us to get revenge on you by you hitting yourself.
And the Star Veils are up, and this very quick Golbez, and very powerful Golbez, is going to do himself a lot of harm.
Yeah. Yeah, as we see these spells just coming up fast and quick, and as we see, Frankie's not doing anything here, just letting Golbez hit himself here. You only need to do the last hit of damage to trigger the end script. So there's what we call action economy here, and not doing anything. Saving the frames.
Yep. And with the 1 point hit, Kane takes out Golbez. And Frankie gets the rat tail.
Yeah, so like not having the pass here. No, he's still no. He may just be in a full blinders mode here.
Oh, we'll see. I might again. I would check, but I'm also not a very experienced runner, so
Yeah, like no,
and,
there's
yeah,
reason to
he's
check because it's
yep.
like value could be something nasty, ribbon room could be something nasty. Let's see what nasty fights are still out there though. Is the question I'm trying to think. Alt
Gauntlets,
Gauntlet. Yeah. If Alt Gauntlet's out there, that's one that you could easily fade. Like, the one that you could actually see is in that cave value. So if we see a blue robe there in cave value, we know it's Alt Gauntlet.
Yeah, we've already seen the water hag.
Yep. Meanwhile, Inven done with his grind here. I just saw white. Rosa just got 52 levels up to good old 62. So that's going to be very high HP, Rosa. Yep, going
Frankie
straight.
immediately going to Cave Bahamut.
Yep. Yep, because there's room rooms right down there next to Z, so might as well take this one out first if we're going to do it at all.
Yeah, for sure.
Inven popping over here next to the hovercraft, prepping for the. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh.
We're going to see a check of that rat tail, I think.
Maybe. Yep, going to grab the hovercraft. Wondered if someone was going to check that.
And it is a karate at Cave Bahamut.
Super free fight. We have a Cecil.
Without that Cecil, this could actually be a pretty powerful hitter, as we just saw there.
Yeah, we got to be able to survive any kicks and punches that come from this karate man. But
just an elixir for that rat tail.
Well, I mean, it's not a terribly bad item. It's useful. Not what we were looking for. So yeah, once the second kick gets queued,
then Cecil just does one hit, and we get an ouch. And Cave Bahamut is complete. That'll send Frankie into the Lunar subterrain to do the ribbon room, I think.
Yep. And Frankie's gonna be on his way into ribbon room. Meanwhile, Inven's gonna be going under here to Val to take her out. We got the defense sword. So a little bit of an upgrade for weapon for either Kane or Cecil. Exit out here and go down towards the ribbon room.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna have to ask Inven on this with pass in hand. You know, what do you thought about doing cave value in ribbon room? Maybe spiking, you know, one of those objectives and then coming back down here if nothing. It's something to think about. See what's going to happen in the minds of a runner. It's always interesting. Some kind of spying out the competition.
We'll see who is hiding out on the moon.
Yeah.
Not that I suspect Frankie will be taking them, whoever they happen to be.
No, but ooh, Palom. Nobody. Nobody.
You don't want to do a second grind.
No, it's not like second breakfast. You don't do a second grind. Character we could have taken before we grinded and given us a nuke, but decided against it.
I think we're going to see berserkers.
Yeah. Not very often have we seen, straight berserkers in this flag set. Generally, it's usually been mages, reflect strats or a little bit of hybrid.
We do have Rosa with white. That's also a reflectable spell.
Yep. It's really slow to cast. And just doing straight whites is... With the delay cast time, can be really tricky for doing just white. You might be able to snipe the last last set of damage there with Rosa with the reflected white. That's definitely an option.
Inven taking on Valvalus. Having dropped Kane in favor of Rosa, has no way to get her out of her spin. But he also knew that she was here, so it was a deliberate choice. Yeah. Doesn't feel like this is going to be too much of a problem.
Yeah, because you've got enough levels we can hit her physically here. chilling. We're not really worried about hitting her with nuke or with white. So it's just a matter of just get Sid, get Young, get Cecil zorked up, and then just make sure you cast Blinks on everybody.
And Young is sure doing a fair bit of damage, so...
Yeah, we call him the Punch Mage because you just need to give him a bunch of levels, and he'll start doing damage. So... he's got
Frankie's
the levels.
gonna find out what's in the ribbon room. Guarding those 2 treasure chests, we have...
No delay.
Maj's sisters.
Where's that mute knife?
There you go.
Yeah. Now there is something. Do we have any mute arrows there for Sid to be shooting at these sisters? You have some other options you could sit there and do.
This doesn't seem particularly damaging, so it looks like this is just going to be... It'll take some time, but
yeah.
It doesn't look like it's going to be too much of a challenge.
Not with our levels, but you just have to worry about taking out Cindy, because if the other 2 sisters come back are taken out, Cindy will bring them back. And yes, you do get credit for the extra knockouts there on the sisters, so could get quite a bit of levels here.
And Rose's attempted berserk was denied by the reflected wall.
Inven really trying to spike out that adamant or pinktail here. Going to look at Yang for Sheila 1. I mean, in reality, the biggest thing could help out Inven here is if Sheila 1 gives the Pan, and then Pan turns into Pinktail and Adamant.
Yep, and then he can fade the moon entirely.
Mm-hmm. That's like the biggest out here for Inven with, Frankie here at the ribbon room.
And I would think that unless something takes a really nasty turn, that's not impossible, and that virus did a heck of a chunk of damage, but unless something takes a really nasty turn, I think frankiebones has this fight in hand.
Yeah. Just a matter of how long it's actually going to take because the sister is being revived.
And this spot is not a short fight. This is where the Lunar Dragons hide, so... Sheila has the Luca key, and Inven is not having any of that.
Nope. Looks like decided to save just after taking out Val there, so it's just going to be going straight to the moon. Going to be doing karate into ribbon room here.
Yep. And frankiebones has completed 6 objectives, giving him the crystal.
Yeah, the question is, will we see the ever-coveted swag walk? Do we save after? Or
I save. It takes so little time when you're here.
Yeah, it's just 2 doors down.
There's the pigtail.
The pigtail. A power shirt, too.
I was seeing a certain Z flag popping up in the chat. With a little question mark after it.
Nap time, right?
That's exactly what that means.
Ah, yes, time to take a nap. Cool.
No, in fact, point of fact, Zemus is far too dangerous to be randomized into the boss pool with all the other bosses. So Zemus stays in his position in the Lunar subterrain, so instead of changing where Zemus is, we change who Zemus is, with a selection of over 600 sprites randomly picked from the seed generation. We will see a different Zemus almost every time you load up one of these seeds. And so the question comes down from the community, whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
I always think it'd be interesting if you stick Zemus, in like a monster in the box out in Adler or something like that.
It'd be really fun if you had to find the crystal and then you had to find where was Zemus.
Right?
You had to hunt him down. And then you could get something really fun, like you have a random boss here in the Lunar subterranean who will then, when you beat him, tell you where Zemus is.
Ooh. I mean, Free Enterprise is open source now, so that is a very strong possibility. We could have that happen in somebody's branch.
Yeah, perhaps that's an idea for a budding programmer. All right, Frankie Bones heading into the fight with Zeromus. Inven, one set of Magus Sisters behind.
Yeah.
I never count out Zeromus for doing something underhanded to take the party out, but this pretty much looks like Frankie Bones has this race. But we'll see what happens.
Oh yeah.
Here's Cecil with the crystal. Here's
never
the
discount you. Frankie was pairing off just so he can get his party out of the way he was looking at doing. Looks like he had Cecil throw the crystal. Looks like Porum or Rose are going to be next up to go here. And it's the Armos Knights from Link to the Past.
Armos.
Yeah, I believe this is one of the sprites that we'll have done by the original developer. I can't think of it.
Board?
Yeah, Board Face.
And right away, Frankie just jumping in with Berserk strats. We're just going to watch as these fighters try to take this Zeromus apart. We're going to get a Silk Web come out to try and slow him down and trigger that nuke, which will bring the attack power of the Big Bang down.
Yep. Nerfing the first one's quite easy to do. It's the follow-ups that get a bit more tricky on the timing. So yeah, it's just a matter of let's get our Zerks up, and we're just gonna sit here and wait. And just do
Let the healers do healing. Oh.
Yep.
The Big Bang came out, I think, before Rosa got healed off that nuke. So she might be... Oh, nope, she survived. With a Cure 4 right coming from Porum. Perfect timing.
Yep.
So the way Zeromus works with the spells is constantly changing his spell damage value. The nuke goes to a lower value than Big Bang does, so when Zeromus does a little shake to signal that it's going to do a Big Bang, raises magic power. So if you happen to trigger a counter nuke, it lowers his magic power, and then he does a Big Bang at a lower magic power.
Yep. But the timing of that is key, because you can end up casting, a Silk Web or a slow and not nerf, because that nuke came out just a little too soon before he was able to set his spell power up.
And then you take a full-face nuke, followed by a full-face Big Bang.
Yeah, that hurts.
It's not particularly good for anyone's health.
No.
Here's a shake.
But I mean, we got a 3k Sid, 3k Cecil, 3k Kane, and a near 3k Rosa on Frankie's side. So, even if we do take a full power Big Bang, we're not scared.
Frankie's not even bothering to try. He's just going to take the Big Bang and throw a Cure 4 out right afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Porum's probably going to be taking a nap here.
Yep. Meanwhile, just going to let those fighters do their work, and Rosa will just heal up as necessary.
Okay. And then recast out the Zerks when the inevitable Big Bang, or Black Hole comes out to remove our buffs. Porum did her job. She cured up Rosa, matched her target, and that's about it.
Inven taking on the Magus Sisters.
Yep, we have the Mute Knife, we have those arrows. Yeah, Porum coming out there hot and heavy. I think has a Hero and Robe on and some Mute arrows. We're going to make some quick work of these sisters here.
Inven also having a Berserk denied by a Reflected Wall spell.
It just feels bad to have that happen.
Yeah. Certainly it's less than ideal.
Frankie brought back up Porum here. Just having an extra Berserk caster. Really nice to have. Get your party back up. Hopefully, Porum can still be standing after this Big Bang.
Unnerfed, it's not likely, but nope, definitely not.
But it's possible. I think she took a max roll there, 2234. I think the max is like 2250. So, yeah, Porum needs to learn how to dodge.
Inven, finishing the Maja sisters off, is now also claiming the 6th goal and the crystal. But frankiebones has a good lead going here.
A good lead there in Z. But we never count them out, because you could get the... Oh, wait,
but we got mind. Rocks.
We've got rocks.
Medio. That means we are in the last 12,000 points of damage to do. Yep. Kane lost Berserk at some point there. I guess Black Hole came out.
Black Hole came out, and so he just had one swing left of his Berserk status. Inven exiting out and
heading back to use the pass, yeah. Rather than doing the walk.
Yeah.
Now, those medios are not trivial. That could present a problem. Oh, never mind. That's the end of that.
Yep,
frankiebones has completed the seed. Yep.
Yep, with a 1:19:24. We'll get the times in here. We do know that at the very beginning there was a bit of a sync issue there, so we'll get the actual times in here.
Spoonius Bard saying, a shame that Tower was the decider. Wasn't a bad play, just the wrong play. That's the nature of a randomizer, I'm afraid. Sometimes you take a path that looks right and just isn't. Neither of these runners made a mistake. It just turned out that the choices that Inven made were led away instead of towards. So
we'll see if we get frankiebones in here for an interview, and I did hear the Badun, so GG's, Frankie.
Thank you.
Yeah, congrats. Well done.
Thank you.
So how'd you feel coming into this race going up against Inven?
Oh, nervous. Inven's been doing this a long time. He's very good at it, so... Yeah, the nerves were high. Feeling good with the practice I've had lately, but, race like this, anything can happen, so...
So I do have at least one question for you. So are you a person who loves the Fate Antlion?
I'll give shout-outs to PK for that one, for Fading Antlion. I know that's his thing. No, usually not. I am not one to fade Antlion. I picked up the Porum on Hobbs and thought, well, I need a heal. She doesn't have exit. Let me just go over to Fabul and do a couple other things. And, if you make your way to Ordeals, all that experience will usually gets you to Berserk and exit. And I figured, I'll swing back around. But that just didn't happen. The seed didn't lead me back there, so...
You're not too upset that you didn't get the pass?
No, I didn't know. Inven had said he did Antlion and Babel, but I was unsure which one had the pass, so I guess it was Antlion.
Yep, it was Antlion. Yep.
Oh. Yeah, well, that would have been helpful, but actually, I don't even know. I mean, I guess I could have exited it out. The way I routed it, I don't know if the pass really does too much for me.
So we saw you go straight into your grind after doing Baron Castle. Was there any thought of checking a character on the moon, or even checking, the Baron basement before doing the grind?
Well, looking at the objectives, I had the King in the Fey March, which is, a nasty spot, and then Baron Castle basement is not, is also a punchy magic spot that's quick, so I figured if I was in go mode, I might as well just go ahead and get my levels now and make those fights doable if there's someone like Val sitting there, which ended up being the case in the Fey March. I had thought about checking the Moon character, but I had three, I had Sid, and then I had Kane and Cecil, who were pretty kitted out, and I thought with go mode, I was like, let me just take these 2 white mages, get Porum up to Cure 4, and just go and take out the remaining spots that I had, because they were all boss fights. So I just decided to get levels. Now, I did look at my levels before then. It was 30, 30, 30, 27, and Rosa was 25. Apparently, my medium math is terrible, because I did not think Rosa would get a slingshot from that, but I think she ended the seed with like 2800 HP, so I believe that she got a little slingshot from that grind, so...
Yeah, it would be. Median would be 30 on that, I think.
Yeah, so I was surprised to see that, and also happy, because I figured with Zerkers with high HP and her at 2800, the Z fight was going to be pretty doable.
Yeah, I mean,
It looked pretty
definitely.
smooth.
Let's see. Anything else I can think of? Let's see. So when you got underground, you popped your siren, and then you've got the big choices between doing like tower, dwarf, or even looking at the Fameworks. You decided to go straight to dwarf. Were you not even thinking about the Fameworks at the time, or was it just?
It's in my opinion was that with the objective being the king or anytime I've got an objective at one of those spots, I like to go down there if possible with levels that could possibly beat the boss, so I don't have to make multiple trips. I wanted to save 1 siren. I like to hold on to 1 siren, pop 1 siren to get obviously the blink on Porum before I head over to my next location. But if you pop 1 siren and then you get 20k from each spot in Dwarf Castle, you come out of that with quite a bit of levels that'll give you some experience to take some of the bosses in the Fey March a little easier and quicker. So that was my plan, and then I got the Rosa, which I was excited to see, because with that many Zerkers in this flag set, with 2 white mages, it's unbelievably easier than with 1, especially the Z fight. So I was very happy to see Rosa. Was happy to take her, and it's just kind of one of those things where I'm sitting there waiting on the key item at Dwarf, and I said, it'd be really nice if this was a Baron key. And then that popped up. So I obviously went to do that, and then as I'm walking down the hallway at Baron, I'm saying to myself, well, this would be go mode if I get the Darkness Crystal here. So then that popped up. So it's just kind of one of those rando things where you get lucky. So I was happy to see that.
Definitely. Mark and Mike, you got any questions for good old Frankie here?
No, I think that's pretty much all from me too. That was very smooth seed, very well played, and a fun one to watch.
Yeah, definitely. So you're going 3-0 into the next round. How you feeling about that?
It's always nervous when I play this game and race this game, but happy to be 3-0. Been playing this a while, put a lot of work in, so glad I could showcase something for everyone today and make my way up to 3-0. So yeah, happy about it.
I'm sorry, I gotta say, so you had to beat Enven. Now you put him down in here in tilt 1 with me. Thanks.
Well, the worst part is it is Invin's birthday, so I genuinely feel bad about that. But happy birthday, Invin! So
we will have our rematch eventually.
yeah. All right, well, if that's it, I just want to say thanks, Organ Mike and Tybalt for doing comms, Step for doing tracking, and Scratch for doing the restream, and GG's to Invin.
GG's once again.
Yeah, good game. We wouldn't have anything to commentate if y'all weren't racing, so thanks for taking care of that part for us. Or
Awesome.
at least for me, because I don't race yet.
Well, yep, thank you very much, and everyone have a good rest of their night.
Yeah, you too.
Alrighty, well, that was Frank Bones, winners of today's race. It looks like inven has denied an interview, which is totally up to him. That's all the free enterprise we have for you tonight, at least. However, come back tomorrow. We've got some more free enterprise going on. Let's see. It looks like actually we have restream races tomorrow. We have Pyre versus Plumeria out on one of our good friends channels of RPG Limit Break tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then continuing on with the regular races, we've got Korgs versus our restreamer of Scratch Dragon, going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern. We got Falgren and Scarstor at 8 p.m. Eastern. We've got E-Ninja versus C2 at 8 p.m. Eastern as well. And then we've got Guerin versus Deckard Smash at 10 p.m. Eastern time. You know, we check out, we do have some Khadgar links for those on our Discord. Go ahead and check us out there. Once again, shout out to the Restreamer Scratch Dragon for putting on this wonderful seed for us. Step lively, clicking all the buttons there. And then, of course, my co-commentator.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Tybalt, and thank you everyone for watching, and hopefully we'll see you again before too long.
We're going to sign off here. Have a great rest of your night, or maybe early morning for those in a different side of the world. See y'all next time.